Well, lawmakers are back at work at the state capitol in Madison for the start of Wisconsin's 2023 legislative session. Northwestern Wisconsin's 25th Senate District is under new representation following the fall election. And so joining us now is Senator Romaine Quinn, a Republican from Cameron representing the 25th District. Welcome and congratulations not only on winning the election, but on a new baby.
Yes, he came just in time right after the election, so thank you.
2 children.
I have 2 now, 2
Your
boys.
youngest, his name is?
Rowan.
And the oldest?
Romaine, after myself.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Nice start to the family.
Yes, they keep us busy.
I think they do. All right. Well, Romaine, what do you hope to accomplish now during this first term that you have in the state Senate?
Right. Well, I think like many of the issues we talked about when I was on your show previously during the campaign, right? That's the goal, is you hear from constituents, you take their concerns, and then you try to turn that into action in the building. So right away at the start of any session is the beginning of the biennial budget. And that's really where you can accomplish a lot of what we talk about, because a lot of that deals with funding. So whether we talk about rural infrastructure, rural broadband expansion, we know we have a housing shortage, basically a crisis across the state, not just rural areas, you name it. And they all can be funding related. So now it's important to see if we can get those priorities into the next state budget, and that's what's going on right now in the building.
So one of the ways to advance your priorities in the legislature is to be on the right committees.
Yep.
So you're chairing the Rural Issues and Forestry Committee?
Yes, and housing. So
And housing.
yeah, so kind of a good mesh of issues there. And every committee I asked not because there might be the most glamorous that everyone wants, but because I know the bills coming through those committees will affect the 25th district. So sometimes that can be good or bad, right? It's not always about passing the bills we need. It could be about stopping the bad bills that might hurt our district. So by being on those committees or chairing those committees, I can make a difference before we ever get to the floor, because it's quite a process on getting stuff done in that building.
What committees did you absolutely want to sit on?
Oh gosh, rural issues and housing with my real estate background. I'm also on utilities. That's very important. We know across the country, and especially in Wisconsin, consumers are going to start seeing rate hikes here, and policy going forward on how do we make sure Wisconsinites have affordable, consistent, and reliable energy. So all the issues, all the committees I'm on, I asked for, and I was lucky to be placed on there.
Are there any bills that you plan to advance or that you know will be coming up that you're really excited about, that you think would be really good for the district? Yeah,
so we have a lot of really high-level discussions going on, because we're fortunate in Wisconsin. We have a nearly $7 billion surplus. So it's really an historic opportunity to really make some fundamental changes. So instead of just playing around the edges and tweaking the current formulas we do for shared revenue for communities or how we fund rural EMS, things like that, it's really an opportunity to look higher level and say, maybe what we've always done doesn't work, and how could we fundamentally change the way we fund some things? And we have the opportunity to do it because the funds are there. We can hold people harmless, so there's no, well, you're cutting me to take from this to do this. And so really we have some exciting conversations going on about a whole host of issues, but specific bills, Representative Armstrong and I just rolled out increasing housing, rural, low-income housing tax credits from $42 million to $100 million this next biennium, trying to get developers to invest in low and workforce housing, which we talked about on this show, and how important it is for families in all parts of the state.
And Senator, one of your quotes is people before politics.
Yep.
How do you mean that?
I think a lot of time people get frustrated with the system, right? And so although there's a lot of political games that go on, at the end of the day is how does it affect people? How does it impact the people that I represent? And I've always tried my best to remove the politics of it, maybe explain it to what's going on, but then really to always put my constituents first before the games that get played in the building.
And it's not always serious work that you're doing. I understand that one of the first things you were involved with was the effort to get American Birkebeiner Week established.
Absolutely. That's a generational race. We have, I think, from 118 countries, we have people that travel to your neck of the woods and here in northern Wisconsin to really enjoy that race. It's a huge economic and tourism boon for our area, and I think it's important to recognize the historic factor of that too. When I was in the Assembly, we had legislation trying to redevelop the old telemark site. So again, piggybacking off that race to really capture the importance of it, recognize the importance of it, and then the economic economic opportunities that come along with that.
I know you're concerned about property taxes. What's being done to either slow or halt the rise of property taxes?
Oh gosh, a lot. So a lot of it takes place on a number of issues. So whether it's how we fund our schools and whether we spend those dollars or use them to drive down property taxes. The state for a long time has actually been backfilling when schools pass referendums to try to take a bite out of those increases. Now, I don't know if the state can do that going forward. How do we fund our communities, increasing shared revenue or changing the way we fund them so they don't have to rely so heavily on local homeowner property taxes to fund the services that we all expect.
And the legislature has sent 3 ballot questions for voters to consider in April, 2 related to bail.
Yep.
And 1 related to welfare. Talk about those.
Yeah, so the bail reform one is super important. I want to encourage all people to please look into that because what it does is it gives judges the opportunity to take in a number of factors when they're setting bail. So we are finding time and again, especially in parts of the state, maybe not so much up here where crime's not as big of an issue, where we are seeing sometimes violent offenders showing up to court, getting a bail set, paying the bail, while they're out on bail, committing new crimes before their next court date. And judges don't have the ability to take into account safety of the community, past convictions, or other issues that 48 other states have. So right now, when they set bail, all they can do it is based upon whether they think you'll show up or not. Well, I might be a habitual criminal, and I might always show up to my court date, but that doesn't keep me off the streets, and I could reoffend in the meantime. So we just want to give judges more discretion,
Sure.
but we can't do that unless we change the Constitution, and that shouldn't be done lightly. But it's up to the voters now. We passed it in 2 different consecutive sessions, and now the people will decide in April if that's something they choose to do.
And the other question is advisory related to welfare.
Yeah, so we have legislation supported when I was in the assembly, and it's big right now too. We cannot find people to work. And so what we want to do is make sure the public is still on board with us in the legislation we passed saying, hey, if you are, for instance, you're unemployed. We know that happens sometimes. But while you're unemployed, we want to know that you're at least looking for work, right? So some of those common sense measures. So this is one of those, again, getting the public input to make sure that we're going in the right direction on some of those issues.
Senator, you've been looking for additional funding for local road and bridge work, bridge aid.
Yep.
How has that worked out?
Oh, well, we're in the early discussions of the budget, right? And so there's a lot of back and forth. It's going to be interesting to see what the governor introduces. Obviously, he has different priorities. A lot of them are shared, but it's how we do it. So he's calling for a 4% and a 4%, we do 2-year budgets over the next biennium for local government aids. But if I'm in the town of Brule or if I'm in the town of Bayfield and I get $50,000, well, what's 4% on $50,000 when the price of asphalt doubled over the last 2, 4, 6 years? So I think we need to try to take a step back and again, fundamentally look at how we do things and say, maybe they're not working anymore. And how can we do it different going forward? And I think that's going to happen, this budget. I'm pretty excited.
Voters in Wisconsin seem pretty content with divided government.
Yep.
Do you think that that leads to better legislation when people have to compromise a little bit to get things through?
I don't think it hurts. I think it makes us be more diligent in what we do when there's someone on the other end that's always threatening to tank your ideas. Makes us work a little harder, and that's not always a bad thing. But there are priorities that we know will never get done now because of the divided government, and that's just the way it is. But I respect the fact that voters chose a governor that I might not have, and so that's why we encourage the governor, when you introduce your budget, try not to do things that we're an absolute no, and we'll try to do things that you're not an absolute no so we can get somewhere.
All right, Senator Romaine Quinn, representing Wisconsin's 25th Senate District. Thank you, Senator.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.